If you have anxiety and you're struggling with ways to balance and to reduce your anxiety, to reduce your panic, let's talk a little bit today about the connection between anxiety and exercise. I'm Dr. Shelley Meyer. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you watching. If you haven't done so already, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button and share this video out if you feel like it would help anybody that you know. It helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate your support. I'm a functional medicine doctor, a family doctor, and registered dietitian. I work with lots of clients in my functional medicine practice, and there's a lot of anxiety going on, particularly in women, particularly over the last few years with the pandemic. There's a lot of self-medicating with alcohol and, seeking supplements and seeking medications. And those can all have their place. I mean, not the self-medicating with alcohol, but the supplements and supplements and the medications can all have their place. But if there was something out there that you already know what I'm going to say, but if there's something out there that I told you that was free and you just need some sneakers, or not even that, you just need space to exercise, and that it didn't involve a pill or a supplement, you might be excited about it, but then when people hear it's exercise, they're like, I don't know. So if you're not exercising and you have anxiety, that is the first thing I want you to try to do, rather than increase your medicine, seek a new medicine, get on a medicine, try a new supplement. I think the exercise has to be in place. Granted, if your anxiety is severe, if you're having severe panic attacks, I'm not saying exercise is the only answer. I'm just saying I think it should be part of the equation, part of the solution, as well as therapy needs to be part of the solution, and the rest of it that I've already mentioned could be supportive as well. So, exercise. 30 minutes of exercising 3 to 5 days a week can significantly improve anxieties. There is no question about that in the research. So let's talk a little bit about anxiety. I talked about how common it was in the people that I see. 1 in 5 Americans over the age of 18 deal with some level of anxiety. 1 in 3 teenagers, 13 to 18 in the U.S., deal with some level of anxiety. And this is a shocking number that 63% of college students have dealt with some kind of anxiety. So next, let's discuss, how does exercise help anxiety? Simplest thing is it creates a diversion. You're not sitting there alone with your thoughts. You're out, hopefully outside, or you're moving, and it just creates a diversion both from external and internally as well. It lowers inflammation. If you don't know the association between anxiety and inflammation, check out last week's video on anxiety and gut health, because it does talk about that link with inflammation. So it lowers inflammation, it lowers tension, it lowers soreness, reduces headaches that are associated with anxiety. So there's definitely that connection there. Improves your heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is very important with not only health in general, but with anxiety. And I have a whole nother video on that. If you ever want to measure your heart rate variability, you can do so with the new iWatches, I always call them that, Apple Watches. I don't have one, but the Oura Rings are another way you can do it. There's also Heart Math, I love that one. So you want a big heart rate variability, and I covered this in another video that I'll link above. But so exercise can help with that. And then also just the raising of the heart rate with exercise can stimulate some of the anti-anxiety neurotransmitters, serotonin, GABA, NP. But brain-derived neuropathic factor is another thing that it can help boost, which is helpful. And it can improve your endocannabinoids. So all those things are good. We want all that. And so exercise can do that. And it increases activity in the frontal lobe. And then that lobe or part of the brain is good for executive function, kind of organization cognitively in your brain, and improves your stress reaction to real or imagined stressors when you stimulate that part of the brain. And you also become more resilient with exercise. So the more resilient you can become, the better that is. And how much exercise? I touched on this already, but 3 to 5 days a week, if not 7. I think there's no harm in exercising 7 as long as you're not injuring yourself or pushing yourself too hard. and you want to go for 30 minutes at least, but if you're starting out, maybe start out 10, 15, 20, something like that. But it is even more effective if you have daily anxiety to, have 5 to 7 days of exercise of some sort. And I talked about this last week a bit because I was talking about anxiety and the gut and some solutions for that. But you don't want to go too hardcore when you have anxiety, meaning, be a marathoner. Maybe if marathoning or half marathoning or long distance running improves your anxiety, great. But some of us that may have high cortisol, if we exercise for long durations at a really high intensity, we can worsen that cortisol, and that can kind of stimulate more anxiety. So I would say if you're not like a distance runner, or if you haven't already been doing those things, and to start out small, those smaller durations. If you're going to do high intensity interval training, do 15, 20, max of 30 minutes of exercise. Doing gentle rhythmic exercise like gentle strength training with weights, dumbbells, just even your body weight, push-ups, calisthenics, those kind of things. Circuit training can be really helpful for anxiety. Tai Chi, of course, is amazing for anxiety. Yoga, of course, is amazing for anxiety. There's all kinds of free videos on all of these things on YouTube. So, stay on YouTube and check it out. And Pilates is a good rhythmic, and you don't even need equipment necessarily for Pilates. There's lots of Pilates, exercises, repetitions you can do just with a mat or just a towel on the floor. So there's a lot you can do with little money. And then walking, of course, getting outside into nature. The more nature therapy you can have combined with your exercise, the better that is for your anxiety. So I talked about this last week, but seeing the leaves, seeing the grass, seeing the snow, feeling the air, feeling the sun, seeing animals, seeing other people, sometimes that can be all beneficial for your anxiety. If for some reason getting outside makes you anxious, then start your exercise inside. And as you adjust to exercising, then go outside and exercise. So you want it to be slow, rhythmic. If you're doing some higher intensity, short duration, if you're comfortable with longer intensity, then you probably don't even need the benefit of adding exercise because you already have it. So I'm talking to the people that are kind of exercise naive or not really exercising. But there's definitely a connection there between exercise and lowered anxiety, and lots of studies to back that up. And exercise helps with inflammation, it helps with hormone balance, it helps with your gut health, it helps with your heart health, it helps with your blood sugar. So all these things are key. And if you find your anxiety is affected by your blood sugar, by the way, you may want to, like if you have trouble with insulin resistance, I have lots of videos on insulin resistance. So if you have trouble with your insulin resistance, your blood sugar trends on the higher side, your insulin trends on the higher side, then I would recommend adding some exercise in the afternoon, because you're most insulin resistant in the afternoon and evening. So I do like to exercise in the morning, but I've been adding a little bit in the afternoon to improve my insulin sensitivity, and I think that's really helpful. It's another kind of pearl or hint or tip that you can use for improving your anxiety. And then try to, track your anxiety, see when you do have it and when it happens, and does that relate to the afternoon, to your blood sugar? Does it relate to lunch, breakfast, dinner? Does it relate to a certain environment, to a certain person, to alcohol, to caffeine, sugar, all those things? Look at all those too while you're looking at exercise as a potential solution, because sometimes our solutions can be right in front of our face. We just need to pay attention and be mindful and open our eyes to them. So hopefully this helps, and I will put some resources I think would be interesting and helpful for you that are free on YouTube in the description. You can check those out. Of course, meditation, deep breathing, like I talked about last week, are very important as well. But I appreciate you watching today and learning more about the connection between exercise and lowering anxiety. And please subscribe if you haven't done so already. That really helps the channel and really helps me keep making content. And like and share and talk about the channel so that it grows. And I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for joining me.